Hello and assalamu alaikum, everyone. Today we have to start our types of audit. Previously, we discussed what an audit was. What were the things that we have to focus in audit? Basically, when we are talking about audit, people have multiple misconceptions. So, first section is basically going to give you the complete background of what an audit is, what it is about, what it is going to be done, what procedures are we going to follow, what is the opinion that we are going to give, what kinds of things that we are going to be following. So everything is going to be discussed here. Now, for external audit, in external audit, basically we are auditing the company's financial statements. And it is a requirement set by the governments or regulating authorities that these types of companies are to be between audited between each financial year or at the end of financial year. Reason being that these financial statements hinder the public interest or they have a major effect on the financial statements. Okay. So here it is going to be a important concept that which companies are to be audited and which are not to be. There are some regulations that we're going to see. The main purpose of an external audit is to get your financial statements checked by an independent examiner. Who independent? What does it mean by independent? Means that he has no influence within the organization. He has nothing to be afraid of from the organization's people, from the management, from the client. Basically, the company that we audit is known as a client. So our client cannot influence the decision that we have to give, the opinion that we have to give for the company's financial statements. When we're talking about audit, there are basically main two areas of audit. There is an external audit and there is an internal audit. There are some other different segments that are included in external audit. External audit basically says that you are getting your company scanned, basically. You're getting your company filtered. When you're applying filters, basically they represent multiple areas. If you are having a statutory audit, that means some requirements are set by the government that you are following. If you're getting a forensic audit, that basically says that your company has incurred a fraud or loss that is untraceable, so you want to trace it out. There are some other types of audit as well that you are going to be conducted or you're going to study in this syllabus, but the reference or the main focus is going to be our statutory audit, that is the main external audit, and the internal audit function, that is a review function that we're going to see. So let's begin. First, an external audit is an independent examination of company's financial statements aimed to express an opinion whether they present a true and fair picture or not in accordance with the relevant accounting standards and legal requirements. Originating in the 19th century due to the separation of ownership and control in joint stock company, external audit provides shareholders with assurance about the accuracy and credibility of financial reports. Now, seeing this, you might be thinking, where does the shareholder come in between here? Why is he here being interfered? What is the purpose of a shareholder being here? We're going to discuss that through a map right now. Don't worry. Now, conducted by an independent auditor, that means a person who is not influenced. External audits are typically statutory, especially for larger public companies. While early audits focused on fraud detection, modern external audit serves an attestation function, offering reasonable assurance, not absolute assurance, and requiring auditors to exercise professional skills and care rather than achieving perfection. Now, how does a shareholder come in between the auditor and the company? Now, I'm going to tell you something. One concept that you might know from financial accounting is the separate entity concept, which says that the owner of the company and the management of the company are two separate people. So the owner are shareholders and the people who are running the business are the management. Okay. Now what happens is that the shareholders are not in the organization. They are not working with the organization. They don't know what the organization is doing. So they want some kind of guarantee that whether the money that we have invested in the business is being utilized for the business only, or the company management are utilizing it for their own gains or for their own purposes. So in order to get the work checked for the management, The shareholders, what they do is they appoint an auditor. They hire a guy or a team of guys and say, go and check the management. What are they doing? If they are operating within the scope of the work they have been given or the scope of authority they are given, then it's all right. But if they are working outside the scope, they're using our money, our hard-earned money that we invested to earn profits for the personal gains, then we need to have an opinion upon it. We need to get a review on it. So the shareholders are the people who hire an auditor, appoint an auditor, and the management is checked. The management's work is being checked by the auditor. That gives the shareholder a confidence that they have hired a person and the person is giving them a true and fair picture. So if the shareholder is hiring a person, then that means the auditor has independence. That means he will not be having any link with the management because the management is not responsible for the payment. The management is not responsible for the hiring of auditor, and nor the management is responsible or have the authority to fire auditor. The management has a responsibility to facilitate the auditor in every regard because the shareholder has told them to. Okay, so here is how a relation of shareholder is established. Moving on, an internal audit. An internal audit is basically an independent, objective, assurance, and consulting activity conducted within an organization to improve risk management, internal controls, and governances. Unlike external audit, internal audit are not legally required and are appointed by the management. So in external audit, we are saying that the shareholder appoints the auditors, but in internal audit, basically it is a department within the organization. So in an internal audit, the management is hiring the person responsible for internal audit. The internal audit is a function of the management, is the function of the company, but it is operating in a way that it is inspecting the work of the management on independent level. It is not required by the law, but it is reasonably certain that every company will have an internal audit function. The internal auditor basically evaluates, checks, and prevents fraud. He evaluates the processes within the organization. They say that there should be controls. There should not be an open ground for the management to do whatever they want. There should be standardizations. There should be some elements that are protecting the financial statements from error or misstatement. Okay. So if you're in your practical life, if you are a young kid and your parents are still having some level of oversight over you, you see what a control means. That you're not allowed to come into the house after 11. You're not allowed to go out of the house after 8. So some conditions are set, some requirements are set for you. These are what? These are controls. In order to do what? In order to basically prevent you from getting corrupted or get out of their hands. Another example. Let's say you have a test tomorrow. You have a test tomorrow. So what is the course of action you should be following? You should be studying. Okay. Now, to ensure you are studying, your parents, your management of the house, your leaders, they're going to apply some controls to ensure that you are studying for the exams. They'll take away your phone, they'll take your car keys, they will restrict you from leaving the house, etc. So these controls basically prevent us from not achieving all our goals. So our goal is to achieve accuracy. Our controls will help us in achieving accuracy. So controls are established so that we can get on the correct path, work on standard variations, standard ways, and not get misleaded or misguided to other paths. So an internal auditor has a function to establish these controls, to check these controls, and to give an opinion on them. That whether the company is operating efficiently or not. And the opinion is given to the directors. The directors discuss that these are the things that we should maintain, operate, or we should change. So an internal audit function is basically not a requirement by the law, so it won't be given to the shareholders directly. The internal audit reports are issued to the board of directors, the TCWG, basically known as those charged with governance, basically are board of directors. So board of directors are going to see the controls, they're going to evaluate a strategy and give a strategy to the lower management to operate on. Internal audit evaluates the effectiveness of operational process, ensures compliance with policy and regulations, detect fraud, promote efficiency. Though Internal auditors are employees. They must remain independent in function and report to senior management or audit committee only. So they are a part of the company, but they should be relevant. They should be kept independent. That means they should not be influenced by the management to change their opinion or change their verdict of a particular activity that is being done. So if they are responsible for detecting fraud and you are keeping them not independent, they are not independent then. Will they detect fraud? No, they won't. Will they report it? No, they won't. So there will be a conflict of interest here. Then why are we keeping them when they are not responsible for the requirements to be fulfilled? The demand for internal audit has grown due to increasing organizational complexity, regulatory pressure, and the need for stronger governance and corporate systems. I hope these two areas, the types of audits, are well understood by you. Now, the terminologies that I just gave you randomly out, we have a structured way of aligning. Now, there is a concept known as stewardship, agency, and accountability. Now, what are these concepts and why are they important? In large companies, ownership is of shareholders and is often separate from the control that is directors. This separation creates the need for stewardship, directors managing company resources on behalf of shareholders, agency, directors acting as an agent for principal of shareholders, and accountability, directors being answerable to shareholders for their actions. So what is happening here? If you have studied F4 law, you might know this by heart that this topic, this area is directly placed from there. Stewardship relationship is basically the principals here, the people who are the origins, who are the beneficiaries, are the shareholder. So principal is the shareholder who are the end beneficiaries. They hire or they appoint directors who oversight the management, for the work they have been doing. But because the directors are there with the management throughout the year, there is a chance that they can be colluding, they can be having some deficiencies. For that purpose, the auditor is hired. So auditor plays a critical role by providing independent assurance that directors have fulfilled their duties as well. So directors are here, directors are agents. Working with the management. So when the agent is working with the management, we want an independent person to come and check whether they are working accurately or not, especially where an audit financial statements. Now the detail is stewardship basically refers to the duty of directors, managers to safeguard and responsible of the management's assets and company on behalf of the shareholder. So they are people responsible for the safeguarding and management of the assets on behalf of the shareholders. The directors are custodians of the shareholders' investment. They are the people who are having the ownership of the investment that the shareholder have given them. They are responsible for the investment that the shareholder has given. So they will be answerable to the shareholders. They are expected to act honestly, diligently, and in the best interest of the company. Okay. Now, responsibility of company directors. There are 5 key responsibilities. First, safeguarding assets. Ensuring company physically and intangibly assets are protected and properly maintained. Financial reporting. Preparing accurate financial statements in line with law and standards. Risk management. Identifying and managing the business risk to protect company's values. Risk strategic decision making involving or developing policies and strategies that promote long-term shareholding values. So all of these actions are to be done by the directors because they are the people responsible to report to the shareholders. Compliance with laws and regulations is also a part they have to look upon and they have to establish controls adequately upon them. Then agency. Agency is a legal relationship where one part is authorized to act on behalf of another, usually in business transactions. In a company, shareholder is equals to principal and director is equals to agents. The relationship implies trust, loyalty, and duty of care. Agents are legally bound to act in the best interest of the principal. Okay. So these things were discussed in F4 law, so I am not taking a lot of time of yours to discuss these things. I'll try to be concise. Now, agency relationship with the company, shareholder and directors. Directors are act as an agent managing the business on behalf of the shareholders. Directors provide financial information. Auditors are independent and verify the shareholder for the shareholders. Auditor and shareholder. Auditors are appointed by the shareholders to review and report on the information given by directors. The triangle creates a chain of trust and accountability between shareholders, directors, and the auditors. So the main key here is this is a triangle. My drawing is very bad, and sorry about that, but you have to comply with it. So shareholders are on the top, auditor and directors. So both of them have to report to the shareholder. The director has to support the auditor. The auditor is hired by the shareholder, and vice versa. This triangle continues. Then accountability. Accountability basically refers to being answerable for the actions and decisions that you have made and justify them to the stakeholders because the money is of the stakeholders. Directors are accountable for shareholders for the way they manage the company. To fulfill this accountability, directors must prepare annual financial statements, allow independent audit, and present results at annual general meeting. These are the responsibility of the directors to ensure the shareholder that they are working accurately. And why is accountability important? It prevents misuse of funds. If I tell you that you are given 100,000, do whatever you want, I won't check it. But it should be done within the business. So what should be the course of action? If you are given the money and you say, do as you wish, as we wish to have luxurious life, but we want to use, the directors want to use, the shareholders want to use that you should use the money for the business. So if I am giving you money, you should use it within the business. How can I show that? I can show that by accountability, asking you how the money was spent. If you're accountable, if you know you have to give a report to a person who will be checking your activities, then you will be vigilant and very precise. It encourages transparency in corporate governance and strengthens trust in capital market. It improves transparency when a third party comes in and checks everything and says everything is good. It increases transparency and trust, and people are more eager to invest in your company and supports better decision making by stakeholders. So if they know everything is correct, they will be more supporting the company's operations. Next, importance of audit in this context. An external audit provides independent assurance that the directors have fulfilled their stewardship role, they have acted in agency capacity, they are accountable, and they are presenting a true and fair picture of the organization. They have worked excellently well. They have presented everything in the financial statements. The financial statements are not mistreated. The audit strengthens the corporate governance by ensuring transparency, reliability, and shareholder confidence. So this will help us in evolving a company as a whole and increasing the chances of getting investments, loans, and the benefits of the society if we are given a true and fair certificate by the auditor. So a relationship is to be established very well. This will help us in obtaining a very good view on our audit report. Why are we addressing the audit report with shareholders? Why are we looking at the audit report first, not the shareholder first? So we have to look upon that for the relevance of the relationship. The relationship established, and due to this relationship, we are going to see multiple effects being happen. So we'll keep a lecture precise. We'll keep it till here. In the next lecture, we will start with our assurance services. Till then, enjoy learning. Love.